Today I'm going to tell you about a small town in Ludowici, Georgia. It's located between Hinesville and Jessup, Georgia. It has a really rich history. Before it was called Ludowici, it had several different names. It started out as Johnston Junction. Ludowici had several names before the name Ludowici was established. First it was called Johnston Station, which was established in 1840s, named after Allen Johnson, who had a cotton plantation nearby, and this was a village near his cotton plantation that everybody did local business. Johnston Station was also had the railroad going through there in the 1840s. The name of the railroad was Atlantic and Gulf Railroad. In the 1900s, there was over 300 people living at Johnston Station. Johnston Station was also known as 4.5, which is what the railroad used as measurements of their stops, because Ludowici was a train stop town. So the train stopped there because it was a junction between other train stations as well. Ludowici had rich nutrient land west of Jones Creek, great for red clay. As you could tell, this is kind of the same kind of clay they used on tiles around there that came from the area. Back in the early 1900s, Long County and Ludowici was part of Liberty County. People were making bricks out of this clay as early as the late 1800s. Karl Ludowici of Jochten, Germany, a mass producer of clay roof tiles, bought patents and produced clay tiles in 1893. Karl Ludowici made tiles up in the north. He was the first one to make these clay tiles. Johnston Station was close to a clay deposit at Jones Creek. Karl Ludowici heard about the good quality of clay in Liberty County and made local contracts and plans to build a tile plant at Johnston Station. And this was the early 1900s. Ludowici was on the route to the north of the Atlantic Coast and Coastal Piedmont Railroad. They had an intersection at Johnston Station. One went north to south, one went east to west. Karl Ludowici built a tile plant to make clay tiles in 1903, and the plant was called Dixie Plant in Ludowici. Johnston Station was located 30 miles northwest of Darien, and it was next to a railroad. So there was a railroad town there that sprung up around Johnston Station. In 1905, Karl Ludowici donated large amounts of money to build a new school. In 1903, they renamed Johnston Station to Ludowici in honor of Karl Ludowici. The Dixie plant that made clay tiles closed in 1914 because of the start of World War I and anti-German sentiment. During World War I, Ludowici was renamed to Liberty City because of the Germans being our enemy in World War I. It's a picture of Jones Creek, kind of the same area where they made the clay tiles or got their clay deposit from. The Ludowici Company provided prosperity for the area of Johnston Station, or Ludowici, provided 200 jobs. People from all over came to work at this factory, and it was great. Its prime time was during the early 1900s. Ludowici clay roof tiles became popular everywhere, even including America. They started out in Europe, being real popular. Then people in the United States wanted them as well. A lot of places that have these clay tiles that still exist today, like the Quartel Barracks Complex at Fort Benning, the Barracks Building at Fort Armada, Panama, the U.S. Federal Building in Savannah, Flagler College in St. Augustine, the Admin Building at the University of Florida. After World War II, they changed the name from Liberty City back to Ludowici in honor of what Karl Ludowici did for the community. Ludowici, and also formerly known as Johnston Station, became its own county called Long County. It was incorporated August 23, 1905, named after Dr. Crawford Long, a person that was a pioneer in anesthesiology.